welcome back to Made by Lucy and my sewing conversations over coffee. Before I start today, I just want to give a little shout out to my neighbour's daughter, Madeline. If you're watching, Madeline, which I know you do, I just want to let you know that I've got my pink cup today. Madeline gave me some feedback on my sewing vlog videos that she was very upset that my little intro where I'm making my cup of coffee is not the actual cup that I then use. So just for you, Madeline, here is my pink cup. Anyhow, moving on. This morning, I wanted to come on and chat to you about some different types of sewing that I do a lot of. I quite often come on here and speak about my sort of dressmaking and my journey in inspiration and pattern finding and fabrics and things and what inspires me. But I also do a lot of sewing. Most of my sewing, in fact, is smaller projects that I share with my community online or in my workshop or here on YouTube now. And, you know, things that I really love to do that are quick, easy, practical, creative, and I find really bring the enjoyment really, really quickly to sewing, which is, you know, a big hit for me. I need something that I can get stuck into and I can see the end result really quickly, as well as my projects that take me much longer. So I thought I would come on and give you a little glance at some of the things that I've been making over the past year that I've shared on my Facebook community, which is my social sewing community group on Facebook. And I've done live tutorials for in fact, all of these things on Facebook. And I'm bringing some of those tutorials to you guys on YouTube as well. So if there's anything you see that I now show you that you think, oh, I'd love to know how to make that, or I'd like to see Lucy's tutorial, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to record a little tutorial for you. So first of all, I just want to say a big, massive thank you to everybody who has been loving my latest tutorial, which is here on YouTube. I'll put the link up here for you to go find it, of these fabulous fabric Christmas crackers. They have been a massive hit. I shared on Facebook that I had in a sewing group, that I had been making these, and loads of people have come across, watched my tutorial and gave me feedback to say thank you so much for sharing with them, and that they're a fabulous idea. So I'm chuffed to bits. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments and everybody who's watched the video so far. I love seeing photos as well of what people have made. So if you do make anything that I show, I'd love to see how you've got on. Either email me or, if you can, pop a picture in the comments. It's fabulous. So these gorgeous things are my most recent make here on the channel and with my social sewing community on Facebook. And they are reusable fabric crackers. I was thinking sort of trying to, you know, reduce plastic and waste and all those things. So this is the little idea that has adapted from that. And they're snappable as well, which makes them even more fun with a bit of Velcro. You can fill them with all your favourite gifts and things. So they're super fun. And then you can just put them away and get them out every year. And some people have come up with some fab ideas as well. So a lady made one in just a normal fabric, not for Christmas, and gave it as a little birthday gift to a little boy with some presents inside, and he thought that was fab too. So they can be used for all sorts of ideas. Birthday treat bags for all your friends and things, and put some little, you know, party bag things inside. How cool would that be as well? So just ideas to really think about reducing plastic, help the environment and the world. And yes, thank you all so much for all your love on my Christmas crackers. Yes, thrilled with that. So thank you so much. So that is recent. That is on my channel here and on my community group. Some of the other things that I've made over the last months, these are all over the last year really, and things that I use all the time in my workshop and in my studio here. And this is what made me sort of think about sharing them with you, because there's loads of stuff I make with you guys here and I love using it day to day as well. So I try and make things that are really practical. One of the things that is really used in my studio every single day that I sew is my little Patchwork circular pincushion. Not quite circular. This I made on the social sewing community group a good few months ago. Wow, quite a few months ago. And again, a really, really simple little make. You can make it with all your scraps as well. I try to do scrap busting ideas for people so they don't have to go out and buy things to make the projects I'm showing them. I love this. It's filled with rice, so it's really weighty, so I use it as a fabric weight, and obviously it's got my pins in and it follows me around my sewing studio, and I love it. So that is another little handy make that I've made in the past with all my little bits and pieces. And as you can see, I tend to just use whatever fabrics I have available to show you guys that it really doesn't matter. They always turn out amazing. So that is a real really well used project that I've made in the past. So that one's a good one. The other little thing that was really popular with my Facebook community, and they all made loads and shared pictures with me, was the little triangle pod pouch. So this little pouch, again, you can use with a really small amount of fabric, a little zip, super easy to make, fully lined inside, and great for taking your sewing essentials out and about, for instance. Great for storing these little clips as well, so it just sort of sits on your work surface. Let me just show you an example. You can sit it down on your work surface next to where you're sewing. Just grab out your clips as you go, pop them back in. So it's really, really useful, really handy. You can then zip it up, take it off with you. Yeah, a fab little make, and super easy as well. So they're, you know, not causing too much stress. And what we love about this is you have a go at doing a zip, woohoo! Which we all love to try and tackle. So the little triangle pod pouch, zipper pouch, it was a firm favourite as well. And people again come up with some great ideas of what to store in their little pouches too. So that was a fairly recent make actually on my community group. So if you want to see me show you how to make one of these on the YouTube channel, pop a little comment below and I'd be happy to do a tutorial for you. Other things. Oh, this, my mug caddy, this was made, wow, about probably 18 months ago. Not in my sewing community group, but I have redone it in there. This was done in a face-to-face social sewing group that I used to hold in my local area, and I call it a mug caddy. And it's basically an old mug under there, and you make this little wrap, it goes inside. One of the ladies made a pincushion to go in the top of hers, which was rather cool. It just ties up underneath, and then you could store all your essentials. So I've got seam unrippers, you could clip your clips round, your pens, you know, whatever you need. And again, it's portable, so you could just carry it around with you, which I love. And it's reusing, you know, things you might have about home. So the mug, for instance, if you've got an old mug. And again, the fabric, you can use scraps because it doesn't use a lot of fabric as well. So that's another cool little make that we've done in the past. That was really popular. Other things, alternative fabrics. I've got on here actually, again, I'll share a link with you above. I show you how to make this rather cute little oilcloth zipper pouch here. So using oilcloth, I give you some hints and tips as well of how to sew on oilcloth, but I love this. This was a remnant of some fabric that I had left over from a workshop I done, a face-to-face workshop to make an oilcloth bag. Gorgeous fabric. I had a little bit left and I thought, what can I make it into? So I made it into this lovely little zipper pouch. I keep all my business cards in there from, well, some of my own and other people's as well. And I just really love it. Make a great little makeup bag to keep in your handbag, or for young girls as well, a nice little pouch to keep in their bags, to keep their girly bits in. And it's wipe clean, as well. Super easy to do, and you could do it on your standard sewing machine, and I show you how. So follow the link above and go and have a go at doing that. That's on my YouTube channel, and that's a full tutorial. So that again is another fab little make. And you only need small amounts of fabric. You know, the lining you could use just a scrap. You just need to get some zips and things. Zips and buttons and velcros and things are great to have a little stash of in a little pot, so that when you want to make different things, you could just grab one out and you've got it there handy. They're the sort of extra bits and pieces you might need to do sewing projects that you may not have necessarily. So when you're out and about, if you see any offers or anything on, they're great to stock up on. And I tend to use zips of 8 inches or smaller when I'm doing these small projects. So definitely have a little stash somewhere of little extra bits and pieces that you might need to use in projects. So bias binding, zips, buttons, poppers, those types of things are really great to have a little box, a little stash of. So yes, the little oilcloth zipper pouch was a firm favourite as well with people. A nice little make. I love mine. I just think it's really nice and handy, and I keep that in my sewing room, but I've got another one I made that I keep in my handbag. Then also with oilcloth, or not oilcloth, a vinyl actually, or a PVC, I showed my social sewing community group how to use it to sew this rather cute little pouch as well, which I keep my hand sewing needles in. And this little pouch was just really an example of how you can sew vinyl really, really quickly on your standard sewing machine. Also using a zip again, made a cute little zipper pouch that you could keep, you know, anything in. You could even put your phone in there on the beach to keep it nice and clean. You could put vinyl on the back as well if you wanted to. That was another great little make, super easy, practical. You could put all sorts of goodies in there. Keep it nice and safe. I try and use my items that I make for sewing equipment so that I can keep it in my studio and show people that come and visit me. But that was another fun little make and really easy and quick to do. So that's the little vinyl zip pouch as well. So that's on my social sewing community group. Fabric weights as well we made. So as I got more and more into dressmaking in the studio with people, I felt that I needed to show people how to make some little fabric weights. So we just made some little cute triangle fabric weights. So really easy to make. Again, great scrap buster. You can make these from leftover fabrics when you're dressmaking. If you've got a nice bit of fabric, keep it, make a weight each time you make an item. You'll soon have a little army of these to help hold your fabric down on your surfaces when you're sewing and cutting out. So great if you want to use a rotary cutter to cut your pattern, you want to dot these around, or if you're cutting out and you want to hold your fabric firm on your workstation as well. These are great. And the triangle shape I like because it's easy to pick up because you've got that little top point. So these were another fun little make to help people, super practical again. And I always tend to fill mine with rice just because it's safe from children, animals and things in case they got hold of them, and just easy, accessible to buy and fairly cheap to buy as well. So my little fabric triangle fabric weights were rather fun as well. Another thing that's been really popular, and again I use all the time in the studio here, and I've got my cup of tea or cup of coffee on there at the moment, are my fabric coasters. So these, again, I shared with my social sewing community ages ago. It was one of the first things that I shared how to make. And as you can see, mine is very well used. You can see my coffee cup stain on there. These are appliqued fabric coasters. So they've got a thermal batting inside to keep the heat away from your table. They're really fun. I suggested that these were really good end of school teacher makes as well, that you could give your teacher any design you like on the front. I've just popped a little birdie on this one. I've done some free motion embroidery writing as well. And again, you can make it out of scraps. There's a few extra bits and pieces you need to make the coasters, but there is a tutorial on my social sewing community group of how to do this as well. So I will pop the link to my group in the comments here. If you want to go across and join us. But yes, that's another great little make, so I'd be happy to share a tutorial on here for you guys if you wanted to. Really fun. I've got another one over here actually scattered around my sewing room, which we have our cups of tea on when people come and sew with me, or of course I do as well. And I like to have more than one because I can move it around, move my cup of tea or coffee around with me and pop it on my coaster. So that's just some of the things that we've been making over the past year. There's loads more as well, loads more scattered about. But I just wanted to come on and show you some alternative things that I sew with my community all the time. And the reason I enjoy sewing these smaller projects is because it really gets people's inspiration going. It encourages people to have a go without feeling like it's too tricky. And so it's really great to start with small projects, or if you're having a bit of a sewing block, for instance, and you're just finding it really hard to find the motivation, sometimes it's just easy to pick up a small project like this, make a few, give a few as gifts, and that sort of brings that inspiration, motivation back again. All these projects are generally made with offcuts and things that I have lying around, so I always try and do that for people so you don't have to go out and spend lots of money on things. And I try and keep them really practical that you're going to use as well, so we're not making things that are just going to fill your house up and you're never going to be using those. But I hope you've enjoyed looking at some of the past things I've been doing, and I hope you have a go at some as well. But I would love to hear in the comments, so please share with me what you would like me to share on coming months on my YouTube channel here. I'm going to be trying to do 1 to 2 tutorials online here every month for you guys to share with you some inspiration and ideas to, you know, practice your sewing skills and use with your sewing, while you're sewing and in your little sewing space, to keep things tidy, practical, organised and looking rather sweet as well. It's always nice to have a little handmade goodie next to you while you're sewing. So I hope you've enjoyed that little glimpse of what we've been up to in the past year or so, and I'd love to see you here on my channel, so don't forget to subscribe to see when my next video is coming up. And I'd love to see you on Facebook if you're there too, in my social sewing community group, where we share all things sewing. We share what we've been making. I love to see pictures. It inspires me to keep sharing with you guys as well. So thank you so much again for tuning in for my sewing conversations over coffee, and until next time, I will see you all soon. Bye!